Welcome to a Wednesday edition of the CK Podcast. I'm your host, Leo Bias. Today we're going to go over a bunch of teams making moves for the Orlando NBA restart. Also, the Knicks trying to essentially interview everybody, it seems like, for their head coaching position. And what should we expect from these NBA teams as a bunch of players are beginning to test positive for coronavirus amidst of them heading to Orlando? So all those things we'll be talking about on today's short Wednesday edition of the CK Podcast. If you guys can please drop a review on iTunes, we would really appreciate that, guys. If you can like this video, share, and subscribe with all your NBA family here on the Basketball Zone Cowbell Kingdom YouTube channel. We appreciate all the support that we've been getting on the Basketball Zone channel as well. On Instagram, we're growing rapidly, and hopefully it continues. We're providing a lot of good original content on there for you guys, some memes, most news, a lot of build around concepts where it makes you think, and they're really fun exercises if you really want to expand your knowledge or just think about basketball in a different way. So definitely highly recommend you guys following us on Basketball Zone Official on Instagram for your latest NBA coverage. Let's get to some of the moves that have been made from NBA teams. The Sacramento Kings signed Corey Brewer to a deal, and he had multiple offers. What he said was that he felt comfortable in Sacramento, where he just played in Sacramento. So that made sense. And I think Corey Brewer brings that toughness, that leadership quality that the Sacramento Kings will need as they prepare for a playoff run here in the restart of the NBA season. Will he help them break their or end their drought of 13 years? Who knows? I think he can't hurt their drought, right? Because he's been in big situations, he's played for big teams, and I think his role is defined. He's not going to be upset if he doesn't play many minutes, and that's why a lot of teams want him. They like his peskiness. They like that he's versatile, that he can play multiple positions. And that's always important, especially in the NBA where wing depth is needed, very needed. Is he going to play over a guy like a Kent Bazemore? Probably not. But in certain situations, Luke Walton knows him. They actually played together a long time ago, or they played against each other for sure. So he understands that a veteran like a Corey Brewer will really help his team. Second guy, Demarcus Cousins. Demarcus Cousins has received multiple offers from multiple teams, but he has decided to lay low, rehab, and I think that's the right move. If I was him, I would continue to rehab until I'm 100%, at least close to 90%. If he would decide to play right now, I think it'd be a mistake. Similar to what happened with Golden State, where he came back, he wasn't 100%, and it showed out there. He looked slow and lethargic. He didn't seem like himself. And if he did that again, he'd be risking another injury. It's a smart call. I'm glad his team around him helped him make the right decision, in my opinion. There were some thoughts that the Nets, the Wizards were among those teams that were looking for his services. And it makes sense if you go after a guy like a Demarcus Cousins, but it depends on what version you get from him. And I just don't think that he was capable of giving you his best. I think he'd be the first to tell you, which is why they made the decision to sit out and rehab. That was the right thing to do. So he's expecting to return for the 2020-2021 season, which is a right move in my opinion. And the Houston Rockets making moves. They signed David Nava to a 2-year deal. Physical player, again, physical wing. I would have liked the Kings to sign him instead to be completely honest. But I understand the veteran leadership that Corey Brewer brings to the table. But Nava is a guy that's extremely good on the defensive end, and he's just extremely physical. You like that toughness, and for the Houston Rockets, who need more wing depth, they're pretty much playing uh, PJ Tucker and Covington at the center position a lot. So they're gonna need his toughness along with House, and I believe they signed someone else, if I'm not mistaken. I may be wrong though. I'll double check on that, but good move. I think it's a really good move from the Rockets. Another move that we can talk about is Avery Bradley saying that he's not going to join his Lakers squad in Orlando because his son does have respiratory issues, and it just wasn't worth the risk for him and his family to bring along their child into a bubble where a lot of these players are testing positive, and we'll get into that in a little bit. So, from a human standpoint, from a humanitarian standpoint, it makes complete sense for Avery Bradley to stay home with his family. The Lakers understand that, and they were told before the news broke, so they've been on the lookout for another guard type player, and the first guy that's the leading candidate for them is J.R. Smith. Very good friends with LeBron James. It makes sense. He's a good shooter. He's a little bit of a knucklehead, but I think he can provide shooting. I still see Alex Caruso playing a big role for them if they make a huge run in the playoffs off the bench. So they're bringing him obviously because you have to replace Avery Bradley. But I just feel like Alex Caruso is the better player, and he will get the bulk of the minutes if it came down between those two guys. So if J.R. Smith does indeed sign with the LA Lakers, I still see Alex Caruso getting more playing time. And yeah, I just think he's a better player. J.R. Smith has been out for a year now, and we don't know how he's going to return. Another move, or somewhat of news, is that Lamarcus Aldridge underwent his procedure on his rotator cuff. And again, we knew that he would miss the remainder of the season, but it seems like his procedure, his surgery went well. So we'll keep an eye out on that. Some players that have tested positive are the Joker, Nikola Jokic, and our prayers are with him. He seems like he's fine. He's asymptomatic. He's in Serbia. Once he gets clear to come, he'll join the Nuggets in Orlando. So that's really good news for Nuggets fans. And I think today the news broke about Malcolm Brogdon testing positive for coronavirus from the Pacers. There are multiple teams that are prepared and that already know that their players are testing positive for the coronavirus. And they're not that worried because we have until July 30th for the season to start. July 23rd, I think, through the 29th, we'll have the 3 preseason games. I think they'll be ready by then. Honestly, I do think they'll be ready by then. So, guys like Malcolm and multiple other guys that will essentially be in the news for testing positive for COVID-19. Well, the Spurs are saying now that Tyler Zeller will miss the remainder of the season. So, no Zeller, no Aldridge. They're definitely going to look for a big man. And that's why they were looking at Demarcus Cousins. But again, Demarcus Cousins has decided to continue to rehab, which is the right move. Wow. The Spurs are going to be thin. The Spurs are going to be thin up front. We'll see what happens with them. I like the fact that the Kings were extremely active right away because they understand that they have to break this drought, and this is their opportunity to break this drought, right? So, man, again, I would have went with the Devin Nava, but I like the signing of Corey Brewer. What, what's up, Devin? Where do I think Isaiah Thomas will go? Whew. A lot of teams can use a healthy Isaiah Thomas. That's very important to distinguish a healthy Isaiah Thomas from the teams that I'm thinking about. Honestly, if I get a healthy Isaiah Thomas, I would put him above a Rajon Rondo in LA. I think he's better. He's better suited for how they play. Off the bench, it would make perfect sense. You would have Caruso as your secondary playmaker. I would like that fit there. I'm trying to think of another team that could really use him. Not many on the top of my head. Well, the Suns, I think two Suns players, right? Two Suns players tested positive. Let's see. I believe it was Suns players who tested positive as well. Oh, Trevor Ariza is not coming. He decided to stay home with his son, which is again commendable and respectable from Trevor Ariza. Uh, in other news, Andre Drummond will pick up his 28.75 million player option for next season. Obviously, that's a no-brainer for my guy Andre Drummond. Ain't nobody gonna pay him that much money anyway, so you might as well make the money now. And let me see. Courtney Lee reportedly suffered a calf injury and will not join the Mavericks when the season resumes. So the Mavericks need to be on the lookout for another wing. And again, the Rockets going after Nava was a huge move and the right move, and a lot of teams missed out on him. So let's see. Iman Shumpert says that he's open to signing with the Oklahoma City Thunder. No, I'm not a big fan of Shump. I think he's not. I don't think he's that good, to be completely honest with you. But I see the point of view from a guy that's been in big moments, that has won the championship. So yeah, I see him getting a spot, especially with some of these guys either being injured or staying home with their families or even just being concerned about the coronavirus. Let's see. Oh, Bertans. That really shocked me. Bertans decided to sit out. So the thing is, and this made headlines, was the Orlando Magic shooting guard essentially saying, "Well, these are his true colors. Why would he just watch his teammates play? It just shows you how much he doesn't love basketball from that perspective, right? Now, if he stayed home, like if he stays home, I have no problem with it. But if he's gonna travel with the team and still not play and he's completely healthy, I'd be really upset about that. So yeah, I'm not into all that, man. I mean, if you're a true team player and you're gonna be there, you might as well play the game that you supposedly love. Anthony Tolliver will sign with the Grizzlies when the season resumes. That's one of the other moves. Let's see. Oh, something that was interesting as well was that Paul George reviewed that in 2017, Anthony Davis allegedly wanted to sign with the Pacers, and that was the last straw for Paul George. That showed him that the Pacers didn't want to win, so he said, "Get me out of here," and they did. They traded him to the Thunder, where he teamed up with Russell Westbrook, and the Pacers got an All-Star in Sabonis, an All-Star in Victor Oladipo. It worked out pretty well for them. It worked out pretty darn well for them, and it didn't cost them a leg and an arm, but I don't know how much I buy into AD wanting to be a pacer. I just don't buy into it. I think it's just him fluffing out and just trying to justify his time. But again, he had a great time in Indiana, a great run for the Pacers, and I don't think Pacer fans are mad at him at all. You know, at all. Tyler Johnson signed with the Nets. A few years ago, they had offered him a $50 million offer sheet, which he signed, and obviously it was matched. And they're going to get him for the cheap. He's a very good spark off the bench. Very good spark off the bench. He can score the ball. He can facilitate. He's tough on defense. So a good move from the Nets there. It says that NBA executives are reportedly pushing for a first-round matchup between LeBron James and Zion Williamson. Obviously, it makes sense. The NBA wants Zion so bad to make the playoffs, and you should expect a lot of lopsided calls for the Pelicans. They're already good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they're not good. They're very good, especially when they're healthy. An all-star in Brandon Ingram. You got a very good playmaker in Lonzo Ball. Obviously Zion, one of the best defenders in the game, and Drew Holiday. Just a bunch of nice guards like a Josh Hart. Nice bigs there. JJ Redick as a true veteran, and he brings out leadership all the time. So I definitely see that. I think it's going to come down between the Pelicans and the Kings for that 8th against ninth matchup between the Grizzlies, either Grizzlies Kings or Grizzlies Pelicans, and then we'll see what happens. I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be very fun to see that. Nick Young, Swaggy P says that he's ready to take Avery Bradley's spot in LA. That's hysterical. Do y'all see him coming back? Because I don't. I don't. What's up, Vlada? Says if Brewer isn't among the first 3-4 off the bench, I'm okay with it. He's going to be there in certain matchups. But DMP's another perfect role player, good pro. So Bertans isn't hurt. Bertans isn't hurt. Yeah, he's just worried about getting paid in free agency. So I think that's a weak move. It just shows his mindset, and that's what my boy from Orlando was saying. He's like, man, it just shows who the dude really is. So yeah, I'm not with it either. Yeah, Corey Brewer is a pro's pro for sure, and that's why he felt comfortable coming back. That's why the Kings felt comfortable in signing him. So I think it makes sense, but from a value, from a playing tough minutes, I would have liked Nava instead. But that's just me though. I'm not saying Corey can't play. Obviously he can play, and he had a nice little run with the Kings when he was here last season. So I'm not mad at him, and who can forget that epic fall? That was scary when you saw that live and when you saw it on replay, when he fell on his back slash neck. That was tough. That was tough. I think the Kings have a really good chance of making the playoffs. Not to be biased, I just feel like if they can somehow find the magic that they had leading up to the pandemic where they were hot and everything was just clicking. It was beginning to click. Rashawn Holmes came back, and right now, from what I've been told, Rashawn Holmes is hungry. He's motivated. He's inspired, and he's focused. He's focused. So that guy's just a beast. That guy's an elite defender. Uh, he's such a great lob threat. He just fits the modern NBA perfectly, and he's gonna be a hot commodity when his contract comes out. If I'm him, I'm playing it out because a lot of teams will be asking for his services. A lot of teams are watching what he's doing right now, and he's been playing really well when he has been on the floor. He was the Kings' most important player, or the best player before he got injured, without question. And he's just one of those diamond in the rough type players I've already found. Man, I mean, if you if you think about everything that he provides for this team is what they've needed for so long. And when he got injured, it really hurts the team. So I continue to expect big things from this kid. So let's check one more thing before we end this. So I think I've covered pretty much everything. So with the Suns players, or the two players who tested positive, they were unnamed. I don't know if they'll keep it like that, but they temporarily shut down their workout facilities in Phoenix. And that's pretty much it. I feel like I've covered mostly all the news I broke in the last 3 days. If you guys enjoyed this mini podcast on iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube, make sure that you leave a review for us, that you like it. Again, every Wednesday, anywhere from 12 to 12:30, expect a podcast, and obviously some random ones here and there, depending on what breaks and what doesn't. Thank you guys so much for all the support. Make sure to follow us at Basketball Zone Official for your latest NBA news. Thank you guys. We'll see you on the next one.